All right, good afternoon. All right, just first of all, a little bit hit on the last game. I mean, obviously did not play well. I thought, give credit to a lot of Kansas State. I mean, coming off 2 losses last week, and it was senior night, and them boys came to play, and they did. Right from the start, got after us, and then we just couldn't recover really after the first few drives, quite honestly. Tried to get it back as our defense held them to 2 field goals, and now offensively we started pressing a little bit, and just couldn't do it. Couldn't get over the hump. I mean, obviously settled down a little bit in the second half, played a little bit better, but it was too far gone at that point. But just give them credit. I mean, I thought it was a great environment there at Kansas State last week, and cool stadium. For us, going on the road for the first time, seeing some of these stadiums, you really get the sense of what this Big 12 conference is about, and some really neat venues that we go play at, and some cool stadiums, and so just give them credit. We got to get better. I mean, there's no question about it. We didn't score enough points, and couldn't slow them down really early in the game, and we certainly have to get better as we transition into this week. We got a great opportunity. Playing a team that's hot right now, TCU, scoring a lot of points. I think they won 4 out of the last 5 games. I think every game this year scored over 34, except for maybe 2. I think it was the Utah game and the Houston game that they did not score very many points. Very talented bunch of guys, I think, particularly offensively. Wide receivers are outstanding. Some studs, man. And they got one that's 6'5", 225. Plays receiver, running back, wildcat, does it all. Outstanding player. And then a few more after that as well. Quarterback, I think 6th in the country in passing. They can throw it all over the place. Briles is their OC, obviously used to slinging it around and throwing the football. And I think, certainly in this game, we have to do a great job defensively of trying to contain that offense. We all know that. But also, offensively, we had to do a great job of occupying the ball and trying to keep their offense off the field. I mean, we know how explosive they are. So we're going to have to do a much better job offensively, particularly on third downs, of staying on the chains there and getting first down. So I think that'll be big this week as well. Excited about the opportunity, finally playing a night game here at NIP, and we're excited about that. We've been doing it on the road now, and I'm glad we're able to do that here at home. And obviously celebrating these seniors. These guys have done an unbelievable job for us leadership-wise. Some of these guys have been here a long time. Think about like an Eric Phillips, 6 years he's been here. Fletch has been here a long time as well, had a great career. John Williams, Evan Prater. I mean, these are some guys that's been here for a long time, and we want to lift those guys up, celebrate these seniors. I think, everybody sees just the 12 games, but for us, it's, we're with them every single day. Their teammates are with them every single day, and you just build such a great bond with these guys and such a great relationship, and, you respect them so much, and just want to honor them and knowing this is their last game in Nippert. So I think that's what senior day is all about.
Questions for Coach, Chad?
The opening script on offense has been really good this year.
Really good.
When you get into a situation like you had at K-State, do you scrap it early? Do you stick to, like, those first 2 drives? It was really difficult.
Yeah, really difficult. Well, and I think, you're right. Just about every game we've gone down and scored, right off the bat, and it's been really good. In this game, I think our first 4 to 5 running plays, we were like -7 or 8 yards and just went backwards. And that was uncharacteristic of us this year, like you said, starting games. And it took a couple of series. The issue with that was that they were going and scoring, and that's not good and we couldn't keep up. And then you get down, and then it's like you're just scrapping to get back in it. And I thought we settled in a little bit, and Corey ended up having a great game. It was almost like too little, too late though with the running game there. And so, but yeah, that was a unique thing. The fact I think they scored their first 4 possessions. When you're looking up and you're down just 20-0, and you're like, man. So then we had to get the drive. We got 3 points out of it. At least we got on the board. So now we try to settle in. The huge play right before the half with the interception. Now we put our defense in a bad situation right there. And it going into halftime. I mean, obviously, that was terrible for us and our team. But I think, I think you look at it, you're like, man, we just scrapped it, and we got to go get some points. And to your point, and just couldn't get it going. Third downs and the fourth down. We've been good on fourth down this year. We were 0 for 5. I mean, that was huge for us, not being able to get the first downs. It was 3rd and short, 3rd and 2, and I think we took a shot and missed that, so now we run speed option to the boundary and didn't get it. We're about a half a yard short right there, and then just frustration, I think, from that point on, really, of not being able to convert and get those first downs, and that was probably the difference in the game offensively. I thought it was. I mean, it was right there at the sticks, and you're hoping that they look at it and they tell you they do, but I don't know if they do. You just don't know. But it was close. I mean, it was right there on the sticks, and obviously you want to be able to get that first down to be able to go get some points.
Where does Hoover rate among the quarterbacks that you face? You face so many guys that were mobile. This guy kind of sits back there and throws it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a great arm. I mean, he's got extreme arm talent. I think the thing that makes them so dangerous is that the fact that he can throw it. He's very accurate, but they have some dudes. I mean, they got 4 or 5 guys that they can get the ball to. It's not like we're okay. You play Iowa State, they got 2 guys. This is where the ball's going. They got some guys, man, out there. So you really can't just say, oh, we're focused on this guy or this side. You really got to just disperse your defense and just stay on top of all of them. And he does such a great job of getting the ball out. And, they keep the pressure on you horizontally and vertically. And so, that's where the challenge is. I mean, he's an outstanding quarterback, obviously. I think him and Shedeur are like right there beside each other, 5th and 6th in the country maybe or something like that. And so I would say it's very similar, offensive attack like Colorado when you think about the speed that they had at wide receiver and the size they had, and the quarterback, and now I think you're seeing something very similar to that.
Going off of that, TCU has 4 guys over 500 receiving yards. How do you go about stopping that? Do you hope to stop that or just sort of contain that kind of an offense? Yeah,
I mean, it's a little bit of both probably, but you don't want to give up the big plays against this offense because they certainly, I mean, they're very capable of big plays, and it's not just one guy. You mentioned over 4 guys with 500 yards, and that's where it makes it difficult now because at some point across the game, it's going to be singled up. They're going to be one-on-one, and they can beat you. So we have to do a great job of staying on top, not let them get behind us, and then if they do complete it, man, we got to just rally. And a team like this, they're going to move the football. We know that. I mean, they're averaging maybe 440 a game, and you get to this point of the season, that's not a fluke. When you're playing this part of 12th game. So. Trying to keep it in front of you. You'll probably give up some yards and plays, but the big thing is knocking it down and not giving up that big touchdowns. Because I've looked and seen. I mean, they've scored from 80. They've scored from a 90-yard punt return. So they've scored from a long ways out. So trying to just knock it down and then play defense again, and then hopefully as you get down tighter, closer to the red zone, you stiffen up a little bit and maybe try to hold them to field goals.
What are the plans for who walks and who doesn't on senior night? Is it just if you're a senior, you walk, or do you have to be completely out of eligibility?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be a few guys that will walk that maybe have a year left. It's a very unique time with senior days nowadays, as we all know. Think about with the COVID year and all that, what that did, and guys that, man, medicals or red shirts, I mean, all this stuff. It's hard to keep up with, quite honestly. We're going to have anywhere from 25 to 30 guys. And so we'll see what that number is as we go out here on Saturday. But, you like to think it's guys that are probably not playing anymore, that exhausted eligibility, and that this is their last go-round.
They line up Savion Williams at both running back and wide receiver. How difficult does that make it to game plan for their run game?
Man, he's a guy you got to know where he's at all times. He's the one I was talking about, this 6'5", 225, and I think – they had him at over 22 miles per hour this year. I mean, so he's one of the faster guys. I mean, I think, we're all blessed with some ability and talent, but usually we're not all that blessed with that much ability and talent. To be that size, to be able to run, like a small guy, and I think what they're doing is smart on their part, trying to find ways to get him the ball, whether it be in the backfield, whether it be a wildcat, or whether it be, out there at wide receiver. So, he's one of maybe their best player, and you just got to know where he's at all times.
For a team coming north, it's going to be cold. How difficult is that for a passing offense, to adjust to that, one? And two, do you tell your defense, hit them because their bell might be ringing a little bit longer?
Well, I hope we would do that regardless. Yes, hit them. I think obviously defensively you want to be able to do that. It really just probably, in my experience, it depends on the player, the actual individual player, because some don't mind cold or hot, some do. So it's hard to say, and I don't know that they've had a cold weather game this year. I mean, probably not. I think, Texas is probably somewhere around 75, 80 degrees at this time of year. And Okay, so they haven't experienced what they'll experience Saturday night, and I think it certainly will be cold and could be windy, could be some snow blowing. I mean, it could be all these things. Dial it all up. I mean, I'm probably in favor of it all. Let's get it one of these great winter Ohio days. So it certainly won't be as comfortable as 70 degrees for a team that likes to spread it around and throw it. So hopefully we'll use that as an advantage, as well as being able to play in our field, in our stadium, in front of our fans. On senior night. I mean, I think that certainly has to be an advantage for us.
Coach, you talk about TCU spreading the ball around on the offensive side, Jack Beck on the outside there, a semifinalist for the Blitnikoff Award. What stands out to you the most when you watch him on film and say this is a dangerous playmaker?
Well, he's got the size, too. He's not one of these little wideouts. He's got size, but, a unique ability to run as well with that size. That's what's impressive about the guys. I mean, I feel like when you look at their wideouts, including him, but, I think the smallest maybe is 205 pounds up to 225. They're big guys, but they run like 180-pound guys. I mean, that's just a unique ability and talent. I mean, and I think obviously that's why they've had so much success in the passing game. But he also plays hard. Like, that guy plays physical. He plays hard. In some respects, almost like a tight end. That mentality. So it's a tough matchup. If you try to put a smaller corner on a guy like that, and that's just you just get bullied a little bit when the guys are that big. So I think. That lies the big challenge, size with speed, and there's many of them. I mean, that's probably the biggest challenge, I think, not just William. If you could just focus on him, that'd be great, but you can't. There's other guys you have to focus on as well.
Your objective is to win and get win number 6, go to a bowl game. Have there been discussions if it winds up 5-7? Because with your APR, you guys are in line where you could be chosen. Mm-hmm. You get the extra practices and all that. So I know that's not what your goal is, but has that been discussed?
No, not in the football office. Maybe somewhere else, but not in the football office. I mean, we're focusing on going out and having a great week and playing the best game we can play against TCU, and hopefully that's good enough. And you get the win. Now it doesn't matter. So for us, no, we have not talked about it, discussed it. I mean, for us, it's just about going out and having a great week of prep and going out and trying to play great for these seniors on Saturday.
Can it be understated just how much momentum in so many aspects can be created going into next season if you guys are able to beat TCU and then win in a bowl game?
Yeah, it's hard to put that into words, but we know how big that would be, obviously, right? I mean, it's I think any time you can go into an off season with a win, it just kind of springboards everything for that momentum, for the off season. We have signing date next Wednesday for high school players, which most of those guys are already kind of committed. We kind of know where we're at with that. The week after that, the portal opens up, so we'll be bringing guys in for that. So December is going to be obviously extremely busy for that. And, if you can go out and get a win, and now when you're bringing portal guys in, you got practices. It's just a lot more vibe around here, a lot more positive vibe, obviously. And I think that's – yeah, you can't really put that in words how big that would be to be able to have that for the next 3 to 4 weeks of bringing guys in. You got bowl practice. It's just a lot better feeling for sure.
How difficult is it as a staff to compartmentalize all that, where you've got all of these things all kind of happening all at once, or do you just say, look, get through TCU and then we'll figure it out from there?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, with the recruiting, with the roster management, you always, and next week we got to have conversations with our guys that have opportunity to come back or not. I mean, there's a lot of things going on right now, and December is probably used to be a great month, and now it's probably the most hectic month in football when you talk about roster management, recruiting high school, the portal. Hopefully we're practicing. It's just a lot of stuff that are going on in that month. So you just try to focus in on what the task at hand right now. Is scripting for practice today and getting ready for our Tuesday practice. And then we have other people in our department that kind of start, the recruiting department is worried about recruiting, So we got other guys who are worrying about other stuff, but really for our players and our coaches, it's about trying to do the best we can for TCU this week.
And the upside is you would get the extra practices that also, I mean, if you were to go to a bowl and you want to play your first team guys and all, but it's quite a benefit that some of these guys that have not played could play, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, you're right. It's just the opportunity to practice and work with a lot of our young guys. Another 4 14 practices, 12 practices, however many you would get to be able to work with these guys. A lot of times we'll scrimmage some of the young guys within bowl prep as well. And some of those guys will play. Zay Johnson got in the game the other day. Willie Goodwin got in the game. I mean, so we're going to, you end up playing some more guys, some young guys that have an opportunity to play because now, next year they're going to get a lot more opportunity to play. So it's good to get them more experience this time of year.
A few uncharacteristic misses by Sorsby these past couple games. After watching the film, have you kind of been able to pinpoint what's happening? Is it mental or just lack of execution?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably, the misses have been high. The balls have been just overthrown. And I think, a little bit of it mechanics of being balanced, and not fading away. So it's really just sitting in there, keeping the front shoulder down, making sure the ball is not going to sail on you. So that's a little bit. I think a little bit that's pressing a little bit too much as well. Just trying to make every play when you don't have to do that. Just take what the defense gives you and take what's coming to you, and not just trying to make every play perfect. But we got high expectations for him to make those plays and make those throws. And and in a game, you never know when those things are going to happen. I mean, we had Evan Pryor was open again Saturday. We overthrew him. That was probably a touchdown. Now, unfortunately, we ended up scoring on that drive. But you want to be able to hit those throws. And we had a third down, and I think it was 3rd and 8. Had to drop out to the field and just overthrew it. Those you never know what's going to happen. You get that first down now, as opposed to turning the ball over. So, I mean, it's just about mechanics and doing what you're capable of doing, because he certainly is.
What kind of ambassador has Corey Kandra been and will be for this program?
Man, Corey's been unbelievable. He has got as good an attitude as anybody I've ever been around. It's like Sunday out here at practice, and I was like, Corey, how you feeling? You a little sore? He said, no, sir, I'm ready to go. He's just got that mentality every single day. We could have practiced 2 hours on Sunday, and he would have done it. No questions asked. You think about that game Saturday night, the game's pretty much over, and he's still at the end of that game running as hard as he possibly can run and trying to get every yard. That just tells you his makeup. And he is a Bearcat through and through. If you could have everybody made up just like him, that's what you want. And, because he's got a smile on his face every day. He comes to work every day, ready to go, and it gives it everything he has. And you can't say enough good things about him. And he's, from Cincinnati. He's through and through. So, yeah, he's a huge ambassador for our program, and I would say he will be in the future. Hopefully he gets to play a lot more football, at the next level, and it certainly will be back and be a part of our program for sure in the future.
All right, Brendan, questions?
Harder to play quarterback when it's really cold?
Probably not. Yeah, definitely not easier. I'll tell you that much. I mean, you'll have hand warmers and long sleeves and stuff, so it shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully, I haven't played in too many really cold games. Probably not as cold as it's about to be on Saturday night, but we'll figure it out, all of us together.
How do guys from Texas usually respond to something like that?
It gets cold. People don't give Texas enough credit for it getting. It's not like that, but it's still a little cold in Texas. So people down there still understand that there's some cold weather in other places of the world, but it's definitely tough. Wherever you're from to go play in cold weather.
You Texans have the market cornered in Big 12 quarterbacks apparently, because Hoover's from Texas. I didn't know if you had come across him. He's roughly your age. And what have you seen of him?
Yeah, so obviously, we've kind of meshed a little bit just over social media and whatnot. He's actually the reason that I was at Indiana. So he decommitted from Indiana, went to TCU. That opened up a spot at Indiana, which then they offered me. So I'll have to be sure to let him know thank you for that, making that decision, because it definitely helped me. But, yeah, I mean, I've gotten to talk to him a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
Do you have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder knowing you were in TCU's area and basically under-recruited?
Yeah, obviously, I think all over the country. I think I carry that chip on my shoulder just knowing that a lot of people, passed up on me or whatever it may have been, whatever the situation was. So I just always have that chip on my shoulder, just trying to prove myself right and prove others wrong.
To get to 6 wins, the improvement from last season, does this feel like a tangible place where you can pack up Saturday night and say, all right, this was a successful regular season if it goes your way?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we'll have doubled the win total from last year, but, being at 5-2 and then losing 4 straight is not ideal. And I think that, as a team, we thought and expected to finish better than 6-6 at that time for sure. So obviously, we're going to try to go win this one and see what happens. But, we're focused on going 1-0 this week And then obviously next year will take care of itself too. But obviously the goal was to win more than 6 games. So, but it would definitely still be a huge win for us.
For guys like Kandra and Kandra that are coming up and the others, how much do you want to do this for them?
Oh yeah, you know, obviously I'm not in that position yet of it being my last game, last senior night or whatnot. But for all the seniors, it's going to be a big game. So you know that's the goal, is to get the win for those guys.
Coach said a lot of the misses have been overthrows and kind of just relates to mechanics. How do you kind of try to iron that down during practice? Is it film? Is it just drills during practice? What do you try to do?
More so just being calm in the pocket. I think that whenever my feet are set and everything's, you know, obviously good, then I'm pretty accurate. So just about harping on that in practice and carrying over practice to the game.
Obviously, quarterback and center have a pretty good relationship. Talk to me about Gavin Gerhardt and what a guy like him has meant for this program.
Obviously, him playing here for his entire career has been huge for us. You know, he just knows the system really well. And just having a guy like that who's a very vocal leader has been huge for our offense especially. I think it's been a huge help for me as well, him kind of getting on me too, and especially being a little bit of a younger guy, but him just being the veteran that this team needs has been a huge help for us.
You and Tony have had something going on the last handful of games. And I've probably asked you this before. Well, I'll ask you again. What are teams doing to Joe Royer to stop him from being open? And I know it's pretty crazy back there trying to find a guy.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, he was very, very productive in the first however many games it was of the season. And obviously these past couple of weeks you haven't been able to get him the ball enough. But, you know, really just teams are obviously, you know, trying to shut him down. You know, he's a huge help for our offense. So I think a lot of teams are going to do that to a few of our guys. But we just got to continue to find ways to get him the ball. And other guys like Tony and Jamoy have definitely stepped up as well whenever teams try to take away Hindo and Draw.
TCU's defense has kind of been up and down this year. What have you seen from them on tape, and what areas do you feel you can maybe exploit?
Just watching the film, obviously, you know, they're not too complicated of a defense, but they definitely do their jobs and they do it well. They definitely started picking it up over the last however many games that it's been, but definitely in these past 4 or 5 games they've been pretty dang good. So we just got to find ways to exploit them. Obviously, we got to figure that out over the next couple of days and where we're going to attack them. But, you know, definitely watching them on film, they look like a solid defense for sure.
So I'll go ahead and get it out of the way. Do you plan on walking on Saturday, or are you leaving your options open at this point?
I think Sal only let people that got 1 year left walk, so I don't think I got an option, but I'm just focused on this week, man.
Had to ask.
Yeah, it's like a good question.
You guys gave up 280 yards on the ground rushing against Kansas State. How do you refocus the group around you, and what was Kansas State doing in particular that gave you guys troubles?
Yeah, just being undisciplined, not staying in our gaps, you know, making it easy on them. Like, the game plan is very well, but at some point we had to make plays that came to us. Like, I didn't make plays that came up to in my gap, so I got to step up and be better and make plays. And EP and the rest of the D-line, including the whole defense, we all know we play one of our worst games all year. So it's just not on offense. I know people just make it seem in the naked eye that is on offense they didn't score points, but if they don't score points, then we have a chance to win at the end of the day. So it's also on the defense.
How much does it change? I mean, this is a very prolific passing offense.
Yeah.
How much do you guys have to kind of refocus and kind of readjust the game plan?
Yeah, just nothing changed. We know they got guys. Number 3, he's a hell of a player. He's a guy that can do everything, run the ball, receive the ball, and just not him. They got other athletes. So we got to have our best week of practice and just go from there.
You went on social media and said, pack the nip. Do you think it'll be packed, and do you think they'll listen?
Yeah, I know these last 3 years of me playing here, I know the fans will show up, and I encourage them to show up. If they can stay on campus just for that game, then just do so, because we still got to fight. This is like a playoff game to us. We got to win to be bowl eligible, so this is a huge game, and we're going to need people to pack it out. So I encourage the fans to be there, and I want to see if they accept my challenge.
What's it been like to see the true freshmen like Marquez Parker, Simeon Coleman, and all those guys be able to get in and actually contribute and just kind of pave the way for a brighter future here?
Yeah, that's the foundation we building from when I leave, whenever I do leave. This is like those players will be next up, and then once they become a senior, they can do the next. So I'm glad we got players like that to step up now, so it's not like a big surprise next year when the team's younger. We got guys like that can step up and be an impacting player.
Savion Williams is a guy that they're going to line up at receiver and running back. What have you seen from him on film, and how difficult is it to prepare for a player like that?
Just got to game tackle him. We got to run to the ball. We got to get more effort. Like, if we don't win this game, our season over with. So we got nothing to lose. So we got to run to the ball and get him down.
Does the projected weather, do you think, maybe help you guys out at all? Team coming up from, and I think they've played one game in the 50s. Everything else has been pretty warm.
Yeah, it's going to be a big surprise for them not knowing what Cincinnati going to provide, how bipolar our weather is. But it's going to be a big advantage for us because we're used to it.
A little extra sauce on maybe hitting guys and making it sting a little bit more than normal?
Oh, yeah.
To come out and make a statement like the Freezer Bowl Bengals, but, bare arms and all that stuff?
Yeah. I might not have no shirt on, so it's going to be one of them type of games.
Dontay, being one of the leaders, how's the vibe with the one game left that you can control? What's the vibe like in the locker room?
The vibe's still good. My mind says send these senior out with a win. That's my focus, and that's what I'm providing or preaching in the locker room. Like, we got to send these seniors out with a bang, and it's very important to me to send them off with a W. We got to win for them because first of all, it's the last game in the NIP for some of these guys, and I just want to see everybody win.
Dontay, you guys have had a lot of noon games this year. You finally get that opportunity for NIP at night. Obviously, fans, as you mentioned, are going away for the holidays. Just talk about the excitement and that opportunity to make sure they get back here to experience that NIP at night for those who haven't.
My whole team, the whole year was like we were just itching and crawling for a NIP at night, and we thought we didn't get one, but we got blessed enough to get one. I know this environment going to be so good at night because it's a different atmosphere.
Don't walk. Should people read into that, or you're not going to answer me?
No comment.
Is there anything you can take from K-State, how they came out of the gate on senior day, to like talk to guys and be like, that's what it looks like to have the intensity we're talking about?
Yeah, because the effort was completely different than ours from the get-go. They had way more juice. They was on a losing streak as well, and they played completely different like us. So we gotta see what they did and just keep going from there and see what they got and just improve on what we got to do.
Back Hoover, given time, he tears people up. Can you guys get to him from what you've seen?
We got to get to him. We ain't got no choice, or they're gonna light that scoreboard up. So we gotta. As far as D-line, Coach Drew preached this morning, we gotta get to him some way, somehow. We gotta get him off the spot, so he just don't sit there all day.
What's the emotion like this week, leading up to senior day and kind of your final regular season college game?
Really, it's very humbling. Really the past 2 weeks just trying to be in the moment, just kind of thinking about really this week, just really being excited about being here, just playing one more time at home is just, it's kind of emotional, honestly.
It's been up and down. It hasn't turned out maybe the way you guys thought at 5-2, but you have a chance to resurrect it. How do you feel going into this?
I'm very excited. We still have a chance with the win to go bowl eligible, give us another couple weeks being together as a team. Very excited about being NIP at night, being at home more time, and just being senior night as well, all at once.
When you've got a guy like Corey Kiner, who you guys are down 41-15, he's still trying to run people over and just run as hard as possible. How much does that inspire you to just give like an extra 10% basically every play?
A guy like Corey, all he does is that's his whole mindset is just how can I do to help best win my team, win with my team. Even if we were down by that much, he's still just seeing him work that hard, and it's really inspiring just wanting to do that extra effort, trying to get him those more yards.
TCU's a defense that has been kind of up and down throughout this season, but they seem to be figuring things out right now. What have you seen from their front seven?
They're very talented. It's gonna be a good game, running the ball, passing the ball, see all their different funky looks, and it's gonna be very interesting to see how we can battle with them.
Are you excited to get some solid, cold, lousy Cincinnati weather?
Yeah, it's about time. We're finally getting cold. I think it was this past Tuesday. It was 70 degrees. So finally we're starting to get cold, which I like the cold. So.
Talked about your goals of playing in the NFL. How much do you think you've gotten better this season? What maybe specific facet of your game do you think you've developed the most?
Yeah, probably throughout this whole offseason was probably my pass blocking game. I mean, I think compared to last year, I think my pass pro has been a lot has been a lot better. Just focusing on the little details, and I think that's what really helped me a lot.
Dontay just spoke moments ago, Luke, about the excitement to play the final game here on Saturday in front of the student section for Nip at Night. For a guy like you from Cincinnati, talk about that excitement to have playing the final game of your college career at a Nip at Night environment.
No, it's awesome being, just the whole history of Nip at Night, being the first collegiate game at night, and just having everyone just knowing how big the game is. Just wish everyone could be there, pack the house, pack Nip. Just growing up here, it's just I've witnessed Nip at Night games in person, and it's just a completely different feeling, and it's very exciting.
Just ask Luke, but for you, what's the emotion been like this week so far, leading up to, what is going to be your last game at Nippert Stadium?
It's the same as every other week. I want to go out and win. Attack the week, attack each practice, attack each rep.
After the game, you sounded like you were ready to go out and play again. Does anyone want to win this game more than you?
I believe the whole team has the same emotion that I have. We all want this game. We all want to win, and we just all have that hunger.
When a team's down 26, some guys will say, I want to come out. I don't want to get hurt, that kind of thing. You look like you're running as hard as you had all season at that point. What kind of makes you run like that? Why do you have that kind of willingness to do that in those situations? Is it how you're brought up, how you're coached when you were younger, or something like that?
Yeah. In my mind, it's 0-0. The game isn't over until the final whistle. So it's hit or be hit. So I'm not gonna let them hit me. So I'm gonna take it out on them.
You played with one of their receivers. They've got some pretty good ones, but how was the one that you knew from LSU?
Oh yeah, Jack Besh. That's my dog. He's a pretty good receiver. He just nice. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Corey, just talk us through the emotions there. Obviously, you guys as players have been fighting for that Nip at Night environment all season long. You get that for senior night. Just talk us through how excited you are to have the final game be at Nip at Night.
It's amazing. Seeing on social media as a recruit, Nip at Night, then coming to experience it on visits, and then finally coming to UC and get to experience it for the first time. It's amazing that the last time that I'll be able to experience Nippert Stadium as a player will be Nip at Night. And it's going to be fun walking out there on the field with my family in front of the fans and then bringing home the dub.
Corey, it's supposed to be kind of cold this Saturday night. Is this a game where you're in the coach's ears, kind of telling them, give you the ball as many times as your body can physically handle it?
I'm in the coach's ear every game saying that. But, cold weather, hot weather, shoot, I'm ready to run the ball.
What's the coldest game you recall playing in, even dating back to Roger Bacon even?
I don't really remember a game being this cold in the 20 degrees, but cold weather don't affect me during the game.
Corey, you have a great story. Scott just said if everyone could have the makeup like you, that would make a heck of a team. Who do you want to thank to help you get to this point, looking back?
I want to thank my family, first off. I couldn't have done it without them. They're at every single game, home and away, and it's amazing. Like, my family put so much money aside to be able to travel to every single game, and the teammates on this team, each day it's a grind. Some days you're not motivated to come and work after a game. The teammates make that fun. Like, you come into the locker room, win or lose, to see their faces, to see how happy they are, just to be next to you in the locker. Just those guys just make me very emotional. I'm getting a little emotional about them. And then the coaching staff, they put me in a position to where I'm able to succeed, and I appreciate them for that. I tell Coach Nico all the time. He helped me boost my confidence when he first got here at the end of 2022, going into 23 season. I had the ability that I have now, but I didn't have the confidence. And he helped me develop that confidence to go out on the field and do what I do.
Evan Pryor and Manny Covey are two guys that are expected to be back next year. What are conversations like with them as a senior leader these last few weeks?
True, just keep working. You never know when your moment is. Like I found out, like, you never know when your moment is. Keep working. don't put any bad film out there and keep having a great attitude. Those guys come to work every day and work. And as Evan showed, whenever he gets his opportunity, he's going to do something with it. And Manny as well, and the other running backs in the room as well.
Corey, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. You obviously gave a lot of praise to this coaching staff. You're 9th all-time in rushing yards. Just talk about what it means to do that here back in Cincinnati.
It's an honor just to be on the list in the history book. I'm in the history book in 2 schools on the same street. My high school's on Vine Street at Roger Biggin, and I'm in the history book at 2 different schools on the same street. So my pops was talking to me about that last week. He was like, if you hit 1,000 yards, then you'll be in the history book over here as well. And it just means a lot doing it in my hometown with that Cincinnati across my chest.